So after a little bit of grinding, we decided to check out that quest we saw in the last episode, and it's a pretty straightforward quest. He just wants us to go kill some mobs and return some materials from them. So we're going to do that now. We are just buffing up our pet. I think we're level 9 at the moment, and we're going to go out in search of these creatures and collect their materials and return them. I'm not sure what the reward's going to be, but hey, it's got to be worth it, right? It's a classic quest, so we're heading up here towards this first rat, and we're going to take him down no problem. We're a little over leveled. These are like gray con mobs, so they go down very quickly. An interesting thing that I did not remember is that mobs drop their quest item, I guess, every time, and also regardless of if they give XP or not, which is a pretty nice system, because, you know, mobs normally don't drop loot, so I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to complete this quest, but in no time at all, we were able to find those monsters and head back to the retreat, which looks quite majestic. And now we're going to head back to the guy and turn in the quest and see what our reward is. So I couldn't remember if this was the kind of game where you had to like just right click and it automatically turns them in. And it turns out you have to hand the items one at a time, and on the completion of the last item you get the reward, which we got I think it's a red dye, which is pretty much useless. So now we're out and we're going to explore the world and see if we can find a nice place to hunt. And here is this nice little fallen church of sorts that we found. We wanted to check out some of these. There's these like ghostly knights on the other side, but there were these frogs in the way, and they aggro. So we wanted to make sure that, you know, we didn't have any ads whenever we engage these mobs, because they're orange, and you know, an orange con mob is pretty tough. And these mobs are cool because they have a little pet type mob with them, like the squire, and they're gray, so they're not really much of a challenge, but you know, they'll interrupt your casting in melee, so like it's something to be aware of. So we're gonna pull this guy, and I think this is a bug on the server. Whenever you pull a mob, their pet won't like react until they take melee damage, or they do melee damage, I'm not sure which. At which point like the little squire guy is gonna come just booking it across the water to help out. So it's a little weird, doesn't seem like it's how it's supposed to be, but you know, it is what it is. And we just took that orange guy down, no problem. And now we gotta deal with this squire. He's annoying. He's not gonna give us any loot or XP, but, you know, he's gotta die. So I pretty quickly tired of that place because of all the frogs, and I wanted to just explore and look around, and I found this cool looking bridge, like here at the edge of the bog. Like a swamp type deal, and it leads to a center island, so we're going to work our way there and see what we can find. Maybe there'll be some cool mobs or loot. I've been surprised at how many mobs actually do drop loot. Like it's not good, but having anything for a slot is you know, a pretty big boon. And I've been enjoying kind of with this hybrid spec. I decided to go a little bit into Death Servant, so I have this like a buzzsaw damage shield ability, which, you know, having the buffs be a little more effective, having your heal be a little more effective, and having the damage shield definitely makes everything feel a bit more consistent. So there's all these bogmen on this center island, and I was curious if there would be like a named mob or something like that, because usually whenever you find, well, I don't want to say usually because I don't honestly remember in this game, but whenever you find concentrations of mobs, like it kind of leads to maybe there being a leader, right? Like of something like that, like a named guy who drops an item. So we're just kind of exploring and seeing what we can find. And some of these guys are tougher than others. Like I think I saw some blues and maybe some reds here while I was hanging out, killing these all these little bogmen. But no, Dark Age has been a really fun time. I've really been enjoying playing it. especially this way, because I played Phoenix, or maybe it was Eden. I don't remember. There's been so many free servers, but all those servers were like Classic Plus, I guess you could say. There was some gimmick, some mechanic that made it really just not Classic. Like you level up faster, or you have these like Phoenix feathers or whatever, and just whatever the case may be. And I was always looking for something like this, where it's like, no, like go explore the world that the developers created and just have fun with it. No gimmicks, that kind of thing. And it's been a good time. Um, it's a little tough. Like some of the RNG on this server, I feel like it's like a true RNG. Like this is something people talk about, but I guess I don't really know. Like it feels like some of these free servers have like a smooth RNG, like it's tilted in your favor, and this feels like more of like a true RNG, because like I've had mobs that like they just resist like a million times in a row, and it's just like, wow, that feels kind of bad. But it's how I remember it. I mean, I don't know if that's just the way I feel that it used to be that way, but it definitely feels correct. Like, yeah, I remember getting screwed all the time when I was playing this game back in the day, and you'd have a mob with one hit left and it just doesn't die, and it feels bad. But I'd rather have that. I'd rather have a slightly more hardcore experience than something that's just really tilted in my favor. So there's that buzzsaw ability. I forget what it's actually called, but it is very strong, very cool. Like, it's one of the interesting things about a game like this. Like, how many damage instances can you get, and having all that stacked together? Like, okay, you got your power tap, and then you got your life tap from the shade, and then you have your damage shield, and you have healing coming from the life tap and the healing pet spell. Like, having all these things stacked together feels really good and satisfying to just play the class a little differently. Because I remember last time I played a Necro, I just went all in on damage. Like, I didn't really care, and that was fine. But let's see if there's more interesting ways to play the class, and just try to create a little bit more fun. And here's about the time that my inventory got completely full. So there's so much loot on the ground. You do get a lot of inventory space in this game, but you need to make sure you actually sell whenever you go to town, which I kept forgetting to do. But I really like this little area. It kind of reminds me of frog locks of sorts, like with their little structures in the swamp. Like there's that zone, Swamp of No Hope, in EverQuest, which has that really cool structured area, and it kind of just gave me that kind of vibe. Yeah, so this guy resists like 1,000 times. It's kind of insane. And I genuinely can't believe it, but he's actually going to take me out here. Despite my best efforts, he just resisted every little thing. And this is about the time I decided I'm going to go and explore the other side of the world. We're going to go see if maybe we can do the Tome of Mithra over in Camelot Hills. So we're going to make that journey now, and next time we will do the Tome of Mithra. So thanks for checking it out, and have a good one.